All right, folks, I got to level 30. We just wrapped up the stream, and it is now time for my review of Throne and Liberty. Now, there are some caveats to this review, which we're going to go through as we dig into my notes here. So hopefully you'll stick around for the whole thing because we're going to talk about all sorts of stuff. At the core of this is a pretty fun, free-to-play MMO. If you've ever played any free-to-play MMO, then you're going to be familiar with a lot of what you're going to see here today. The game does some things really well. It does other things meh. And there's some other things where it needs some work. So it's kind of a mixed bag, even though overall I will say it is fun. And if you like the Korean free-to-play type MMOs, this is probably going to be right up your alley. So without further ado, let's dive into the review. So one of the things I'll talk about immediately is the game is absolutely breathtaking. If you haven't watched any of the streams, we've been running around and the game is just visually, it's just freaking beautiful here. We're out here doing quests right now. I'm playing on the Xbox Series X. Performance has been absolutely smooth as silk, buttery smooth, with the exception of a couple of areas where I think the game just is going to need some more polish because it is relatively it's just kind of hit the shelves, so they've got a lot of work to do ahead of them still in terms of post-launch content, patches, and everything else. Continual optimization, more performance upgrades. Like those things take time for any launched game, so it's not something that I would knock points off for. One of the coolest transitions I have seen, I'll do it really quick actually so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Anytime you do a fast travel in this game, because it's sort of a seamless game and there's no zones, what you're going to do is it's going to suck me up into the sky and then spit me back out again down somewhere else. And it's an incredibly smooth, like, whoop, whoop. Like, that's how fast the fast travel is. And it's beautiful when it happens. It works really well. And that's something that this game does exceptionally well is the transitions. So there's not only the fast travel transitions, there's also when you go into an interior and you go through a door, it does a great behind the shoulder. The camera moves with you through, and then you're in the interior. And then when you're coming out, it does the same thing. There are some loading, hitching issues when you come into a city for the first time, even though the performance overall is absolutely amazing. The load when you first transition into a city environment, it's loading thousands of assets. There is a slight hiccup. We might even be able to see it if I fast travel into a town really quick. Let me go back to Venta Village, probably not, but let's do Castleton. Let's do Castleton and see what happens. Because sometimes there's a tiny little hitch when it loads in, because it does have. No, that one was pretty seamless. But I have noticed from time to time there are some loading issues. Oh, there was a tiny hitch right there when we moved. But overall, the performance has been absolutely amazing. And I just love the transitions. Today during the stream, actually, one of the coolest things I ever saw where I was doing a quest, and it was to deal with this like vampire thing. And I talked to an NPC, and then it was like, go meet this person over here at nighttime. And I was like, well, how do you pass the time in this game? Well, I didn't have to, because what it did is as soon as I finished with the NPC, the camera pulled back and then panned up to the sky and showed the day-night cycle happening. And then as we got to night, it was tracking across the sky, and the camera panned over into this building, and it saw my character running up to the building, and then the camera swooped down, followed my character into the building from behind. I opened the door, entered into the building, and then we were in this third-person camera again. And it was one of the sweetest, coolest transitions I have ever seen in an MMO before. It was really well done. So, graphics-wise, this game is beautiful. The animations are great. The combat animations are great. All of that, visually speaking, it's very, very good. The music is also phenomenal. The gameplay is fun, but oh my goodness, do they use some really weird controls, and their default controls and their default cameras. All of those things are really weird, and I had to spend a lot of time changing keybinds to get things to work the way that I'm accustomed to, because I play a lot of games with the controller, and this one plays unlike anything I've ever played before. So there was some weirdness in that. But essentially, if you've ever played like Guild Wars 2, it's kind of the same thing here. You have a couple of weapon sets. I have in this case I have daggers and a bow, but you can choose any combo of two that you want. And there's some complexity here for those of you who want it. If you go into the like skills, essentially there's these passives that you get by using different weapons, and some of them complement other ones in some way. So like some people love the broadsword daggers combo, other people like the broadsword bow combo. I happen to like the bow dagger combo. Um, but there's a lot of abilities tied to weapons, and they happen as you level up. You get access to them. And this is where you start to get into the real complications here, because this is where you get into all of the abilities can be leveled up, as well as see, and there's a difference between active abilities and passive abilities, and they each require different tomes, different books to level up, and then there's different tiers, so different tiers require different types of books, and that carries over into also your gear, where we have a equipment enchanting too, and you have your weapons and your armor, and all of this um, can be leveled. And this is where the game starts to feel a little bit like most of the other free-to-play titles you've played, or free-to-play mobile games you might have played over the years, where you can go in here and you'll see I need these growth stones to level this up, but I can only use the green growth stones to get me through until I'm like level 6, and then it toggles over to blue. Yeah, I'm at max level, so now I need different ones. So if I back out, now it's going to, as an example, now it's going to need these rare ones. So there's tiers of this. Now this is where for me the tedium sets in, because we did on the stream today. I had been leveling for a few hours, and I decided to stop and upgrade all my gear and everything else. And it was a good 45 minutes of us just going through and spending points on all of these different things to get them to level up. And I am not a fan of that system, and I realize that this is a subjective viewpoint, but to me, having to spend 45 minutes to upgrade my armor and my skills and my weapons and my abilities, excuse me, that was not fun for me. It may be fun for some people, but they lost me with this one here. I much prefer the way, say, Star Wars: The Old Republic, Lord of the Rings Online, or World of Warcraft does it, where you do a quest, you get a piece of gear. Solo quests offer this tier of gear. Group quests offer this tier of gear. Daily quests offer this tier of gear. Raids offer this tier of gear, and so it's very easy to know which set of gear you're going to get depending on what type of quest you're doing. Here, you're basically crafting gear that has the stats you want, and then you're going to go about upgrading that gear over time. One of the cool things is that if you do find something that you want to switch out for, it does let you transfer a part of the XP from a previous item over to the new item, so that you don't lose all the progress if you decide somewhere along the way that you're going to switch out, or if you find something. And this is where there is a ton of grind in the game, because there are a lot of different places that you can get gear, and there's a lot of gear that you can grind for. And if you like the grind, this game is going to have lots of grinding for you, because you need lots and lots and lots of skill books and things to level up your gear, and then you have to spend the time to level up the gear, and it's just a lot of grind. The dialogue that is here is pretty good. However, this is an area where the game needs some polish, because there's a couple of things that happen in the voiced sections. One is that the narration will often cut out. So you'll be talking to an NPC, they'll be mid-sentence, and suddenly the dialogue, you'll just lose audio, and then it picks up again a few words later. That gets annoying after a while. Also, they have an issue where they've used different voice actors for different lines of dialogue. So you'll be going along speaking to an NPC, you'll get used to that voice actor, and they'll be like talking to you, and then the camera will change angle, and it'll have a new line of dialogue, and it'll be a different voice actor who's trying to match the first voice actor. Then they'll get done with their line, the camera will move back around to the other angle, and it's back to the original voice actor again. So there's definitely some wonkiness with the voice acting in this game, and it definitely needs some work in terms of smoothing it out, getting it to work all the time. I don't know what they can do with the different voice actors. That feels rushed. So that was definitely a point off for me. The cutscenes I absolutely adore. They have these really cool animated cutscenes for story moments that use a specific art style, and they're a lot of fun. The voiceovers are great for those, the music is great for those, and it tells good stories. I really like the animation styles for those. However, the one place, this is probably the worst offense for me, and it's one of the reasons why I won't play this game beyond what I've already tried out, um, is that any game that forces me to do side quests in order to keep my main level up to do the main quests immediately loses my interest. And this has happened a few times over the years. Guild Wars 2, when it launched, did this to me, and I quit playing Guild Wars 2 because of it. Final Fantasy 14, A Realm Reborn, did this when it first came out, and I didn't play it after that. Um, so what I mean by that is I have a main quest. There's a MSQ here. You'll be running along doing the MSQ, and you'll eventually get to the point where you can no longer progress the MSQ because you need more levels to do it. So in order to get more levels, you have to back out and do side quests and or dungeon content. Um, and unfortunately, this game suffers from really uh, grindy, repetitive fetch quests. Kill 5 of these. Kill. It's the curse of every MMO with side quests. It's really noticeable here though because I'm not allowed to progress the MSQ. I'm not allowed to progress my levels with just the MSQ. Like I have to stop and do side quests to level up. And it was really bad today during the stream where um, I was level 26 and I had to grind for a little over 2 hours to get to level 28 in order to go to the next MSQ. And that was the second time it had happened. The first time it was only about a 30 to 45 minute grind, and this time it was 2 hours, which means the next time it happens, it's going to be a 4 to 5 hour grind, and so on and so forth. Um, I'm not a fan of games that do it that way. I like story games where I can play the main story all the way through to the end, and I do side content if I want to, and this game does not let you do that. You are forced to do the MSQ at specific level intervals, and in between that, you're expected to go grind lots of stuff, which I am not a fan of. So for me, that was the biggest offense as to why I personally wouldn't want to play this game. However, if you like the grind, this will be right up your alley. And I'm not saying it's a bad game. I am saying that for me personally, it doesn't fit the cinematic narrative experience that I particularly enjoy in my games. I much prefer a game where I can follow the MSQ all the way to the end and I don't have to do side quests unless I want to. The moment you force me to do side quests, I kind of lose interest because I'm like, okay, now you're making me kill shit just to kill shit, and that's boring. I don't want to do that. So quick commercial break, everyone, to celebrate and give thanks to all of these amazing people who keep me on the air full time. Really appreciate the support. All you got to do is join as a member. You get access to private videos. You can also do super thanks on any upload or super chats and stickers on any live stream or premiere you see. And beyond that, don't forget we're multi-streaming over on Twitch now, so you can support over there as well. Thanks so much to everybody. Let's get back to the video at hand. Um, there is that. This game is complex. There is a ton of stuff going on here. There's crafting, there's dungeons, there's raids, there's PvP. All of that's like end game stuff that you can do if you want to. You don't have to do it all if you don't want to. The dungeons are super quick. There's no like massive dungeons here. They're all like quick little 10-minute, if that. I mean, every dungeon I ran, which there was only a couple of them that I ran at this point, because when you get into the co-op dungeons, um, they're like every 10 levels, and they're quickies, man. It's like 10 minutes and you're done. And then there are like secret dungeons, which are like solo trials that you can do. And then there is the leveling log. There's all the morphs, so you can like transfer into different creatures based on whether you're on land or in air or in the sea. You don't fly with this, it's just gliding. But this is kind of a cool feature. It's very seamless too, because like literally we're boom and then we're back out. Like it's a very seamless transition. We stop and boom, we're out. Like again, the performance in this game is absolutely amazing, and visually it's breathtaking. What else? We've talked gear leveling, ability leveling. We've talked cutscenes, animation styles, forced side quests, the performance. We've talked about the voice acting stuff, the layout scheme of the controls. Once I got used to all of the control schemes, learning the muscle memory, it got much easier, and combat was pretty fluid and straightforward. The big thing here is to understand that if you're gonna really play this game, if you just want to play it solo, just understand that there's going to be a lot of grind. And If you're going to be playing it in a guild, then you're going to be doing the in-game stuff related to PvP and the guild raids um, and co-op dungeons, which for some people is a lot of fun, for other people not so much. Um, there is also a battle pass here, and for anybody who claims there's a free version and a premium version. And for anybody who claims that this game is pay to win, you are 100% incorrect. This game is not pay to win. It is, however, from what I've seen so far, pay for convenience. So essentially, when you get into the shop and the premium battle pass, what you're essentially paying for is a way to speed up the progression of your character. That is not pay to win. That is pay for convenience. Because all of the things that you can get here, like the ways that you can speed up your character, I can get those through the game. Like I can go grind it out and take my time. And this is where it feels a lot like a mobile game because the way they have you getting your tokens and everything else to level up your gear and level up your skills, it's like here you can go grind the game and earn it this way, or you can give us some money and you can progress a lot more quickly. That is not pay to win. That is pay to convenience. I've seen some incorrect assumptions made about the system out there. So you need to understand that. There are cosmetics in the shop as well. So if you want to get it, great. I think they're cool for those who want to get them. And then there's, of course, things related to cosmetics, character transfers, appearance stuff, so on and so forth. But it's all just cosmetics and premium, like, here, have some things to help you progress more quickly. And then there's a Lucent, which again is more, it's everything more quickly. Um, so that's all there, which again, if you've ever played a free-to-play MMO or a mobile game, you would be familiar with this. So here's my take. At the end of the day, I think that this is a fun game, and I think that it's filling a void for a lot of people. If you look at Twitch and YouTube, there are quite a few people streaming this, and a lot of people having a lot of fun. I haven't checked the Steam charts or anything like that. I'm playing this on the Xbox. It's also on the PS5. It's everywhere, right? It does have a fun gameplay loop. I have enjoyed the storyline to some degree, but the story is very mid and very tropey. I'm the chosen one, the prophesied one, and it's kind of jumping all over the place. Um, so, a very mid story. It's very flashy, it's very beautiful, and originally that was enough to keep me going. But today, the moment I had to do side quests for 2 hours to keep the main quest going, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. So I've put in. I would have to go look at the stream times, but I think we're close to like 15 hours of gameplay, and that was enough for me to decide that this really isn't something for me. So my review of this would be probably a 6 out of 10. Um, Fun for the 15 hours that I played it, but it needs a lot of work with the voice acting. It needs a lot of work to get those missing lines of dialogue fixed, and needs some work with the difference between voice actors. The grind is a little too much for me, and that might be something they smooth out later on. There are some performance hitches here and there, um, and I think overall it felt very much like a mobile free-to-play title. There's nothing wrong with that if you like that type of thing, but if you've been around my channel for any length of time, the way that I play games is I very much focus on like cinematic storytelling, big narrative games, and I like those types. This doesn't really have that. The story was kind of like that. So for me, the lack of a main story, the grindiness of this game, and the not the performance issues, but the lack of polish and some of the jank that it needs. There's also some issues with the menu where sometimes you can navigate the menu using the thumbstick, but sometimes you're supposed to use the D-pad and they don't ever tell you when it's the two. So sometimes you'll be navigating, suddenly it's not working anymore, and you're like, oh, I need to switch over to the D-pad, and it doesn't tell you, at least on the Xbox. So there's just there's some launch stuff that they need to work out. So this might be something where I come back 6 months down the road, give it a look, and do a final review. But my initial review out of the gate after having played this game for around 15 hours is 6 out of 10. I think if you like these types of games, it's fun, but it really, really, at the end of the day, I did have a lot of fun. The initial 12 hours or so, and even yesterday I recorded a video that said what I'm really loving about this game so far, and then I played today's stream and I went, oof, I hit that brick wall of the forced side quests, and it was a screeching halt for me, and it was like, A lot of stuff I do like here, but also that's a no for me. So hard pass. Still, some of you might enjoy it and have fun with it. Some of you love the guild stuff and the PvP. And for those of you who are having fun, please enjoy the game. I am not saying it's trash. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just not for me. But that doesn't mean it's not for you. It's free to play. You have nothing to lose by going out there and trying it. And you can get it on the PS5, the Xbox, or the PC. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the game. Drop down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Daily streams here and on Twitch. And we're rolling straight into New World Eternum after this. And then from there, Dragon Age the Veilguard with some Black Ops 6. And then Stalker 2 and some more Star Wars Outlaws because the first story of the DLC drops in November. And then Indiana Jones and the Great Circle and a lot of stuff next year too. So we'll see you in the next one, everybody. Stay safe. Happy gaming.